Afternoon YouTube, Scott from SE Landscaping on a sunny day in not the northeast of England. I'm actually in North Yorkshire and a rare day off work, and I'll explain why I have been here today. That is Btme in Harrogate, the Turf Care Association, bigger Turf Care Association meeting once a year, usually on in January, but due to COVID they moved it back. It wasn't on last year because of COVID, so we go to that. It is a bit like Saltex, anybody who's been to Saltex, but it's more for sort of turf care, bowling greens, etc. So it's where Saltex is more gardens, landscape and ground care. This is more your turf care side of stuff, fine turf, and you see lots of bowling green guys and cricket guys and golf course guys there. So, but it's a chance to get away, it's a chance still to look at equipment. I didn't get any footage in the event, I didn't bother today. But it was just a chance to get a look at some equipment, and also I've got a couple of new jobs that require seeds and fertilizers. So it was a trip down to get a bit more information, because fine turf's not my speciality. I know most things in the industry, but that's sort of beyond me, looking after fine turf and things. So got some brochures, talked to some people who are going to come out and give me some advice. One is a bowling green that we're looking after, so got someone coming out to give me some advice on that, to see what we need to do to improve that. So that will be good. But just talking to people, everything, fertilizers, seeds, wetting agents, anything you imagine, the same as everything else at the moment, is going up in price. So it's everything's soaring. People at the event, like I say, most of the grounds guys who we interact with on social media go to Saltex, but with this being this time of year, very few people can justify a trip to a day out. But I did see my local dealer, as well as a couple of my local fitters. They're at the event today for a look around. I just hope that by them taking a day out of work, that's not going to slow up my machinery equipment that's in for a service. We don't want that having to be moved back a day because they have a jolly boys out. So we'll have to follow that up another day and ask them what's happening, whether the equipment's going to be a day behind, which isn't very good. But no, only kidding, you work hard, so I suppose you're allowed a day out now and again. And the other person I met up with, who finally got to meet, we interact a lot on social media, but we haven't managed to get hold of each other yet, was JIMMY the Mower, accompanied by his better half Philippa. Now, anybody who knows Jimmy, he's shot to fame by cutting a sports pitch, and he ended up on the BBC and various other things, and he's now a national celebrity. And we got sat chatting, and we were chatting for a good hour. To be fair, it was a good. I think we could have sat there all day. And when we got chatting and got down to each other's business, it's amazing how very similar our businesses are. He does a bit like I do, a heck of a lot of parish councils, and we have the same issues. Which was quite ironic, that everything he had a problem with, I had a problem with. Everything he thought was good, I thought was good. But it was just nice to get a take on how other people go at the trade. And like I say, we talked about everything from prices of fuel, which I'm going to come on to in a bit. That's today's video. From prices of fuel to machinery upgrades, and how I explained how I built up my business. Now I built up the amount of kit we've got and everything like that, and he explained about his equipment and how he used to run old gear and how it used to break down and things, and he decided to invest in new stuff, and it's paying off. So it was a really good chat. Thanks for that, Jimmy. It was good to meet you both. And like I say, we could have sat there all day, really, very easily sat there all day, but the event was the thing we went for. So we parted company, and we will have to catch up again because there's so much that we didn't talk about. Usually I do an overnighter in Harrogate, which would have been good, but on this occasion it's work and everything. There was I'm going back, so that's where we are. But coming on to today's video, and it's about fuel prices. Now everybody knows fuel prices are going nuts at the moment, coupled with the fact that red diesel, which a lot of us have used in our machinery for a lot of years, it's still a bit of a grey area, but the crux of the problem is most people in our industry now are going to have to move on to white in their machines. And what does that mean? That means that last year I was paying, I think, 80 pence for red diesel and £1.40 for diesel. It means that this year you're paying £1 at the moment, £1.70 up north for diesel. So it's gone up a considerable amount, and it might still go up again. It could get to £2. And what does it mean for us? Well, if you're tied into a lot of 5-year contracts with, like I am, there's nothing in small print that can get you out of it, so you foot the bill. On the plus side, the lucky thing is, as anybody who watched one of my previous videos knows, 3 parish councils that went to tender, 3 parish councils that I had that went to tender, I could have took them or left them. As you know, I was planning on downsizing this year, so I ramped the prices up considerably, and I think I explained on the previous video that I got them all back, and it was due to people not wanting the jobs. So if people had tendered for them, I potentially would have lost them, or lost 1 or 2 on price. I don't know, because the other side of it, if your customers do like you as much as a lot of mine do, they don't have to take the cheapest price. But where we were at with that was we got them all back. So what it means is that yes, we've lost a bit of, we're going to lose a bit of money with the diesel, but that's offset with the extra income, so I can foot the bill. I don't think it's going to be a long-term thing. I think personally, once hopefully this thing in Russia gets sorted out and the fuel's coming from elsewhere and things, and there's a better supply, I think things will even themselves out a bit, and I think we'll see a drop in fuel prices. So basically where we are with that is, if I hadn't increased them prices, I would have had to foot the bill and find the money off that, so my profit margin would have dropped. As well as that, over the winter, most of the stuff, apart from sort of our chipper and our van and the odd bit of loan, most of our stuff's been on the battery. So I've calculated now that this tax year I'm quite well in hand with the fuel. Before the sort of run up to March, the amount of fuel that I haven't used with switching on battery has saved a lot over the winter. Yes, our fuel drops from the summer, so in the summer you're using a high amount. In the winter it drops naturally anyway, because you're not constantly cutting grass and things, and you're pruning, and then you're raking up and stuff like that. So, and your workload isn't as bad, so you can't put a 10-hour, 12-hour shift in summer because it's dark, so you can only sort of get 6.5 hours some days. So your fuel drops, and with the battery it's saved a lot of money, so we're quite a bit in hand in this tax year. And what I call this tax year is April till April. So 1st of April I come up with a list of an amount of money of what my outgoings are predicted to be. That includes service and insurance, everything like that. And I'm not usually that far away, they usually come in somewhere near, so I'll know what my outgoings are. This year I've budgeted the extra fuel of what I think we will fork out, bearing in mind I do think it will stabilise a bit. It's a bit like everything else last year when timber and steel and everything were going up and machinery was in short supply, everything was going nuts, and then it sort of stabilised and things like timber now are actually coming back down. So what's the video about? Well, basically it's about planning how you can save fuel. And what I mean by that is, we've got lots of machines, as you know, and it's down to, we've got lots of machines that do the same job. So what the plan is, it's down to looking at all the machines you've got, and it's down to using the more fuel efficient ones, for instance. And so for instance, I've got the Ransoms HR300, and anybody who follows me on social media knows that I recently bought the Furus ISX3300, this one here. That photo was taken the other day when he cut his first bit of grass. And both like for like machines do the same job. So it's a matter of getting down to the bare bones and saying, right, yes, you've got two machines and you would like ideally to use all your machines, but it's down to saying to yourself, right, which is the most fuel efficient at the moment, because the way fuel is, you need to bear in mind every time you fill it up, if one machine's £20 more than the other one and you're filling that up every day of the week, that's £100. So it's things like that. The other things you can do is, you guys in sort of people with multiple sites and multiple houses, if you're going in one direction one day and you service 8 properties or 8 commercial clients, and in that area you service 10, but 2 of them are held back for the next day, and then you go there and then you go somewhere else, streamline these visits and say to yourself, right, instead of an 8-hour shift today's a 10-hour shift. We're going to hit that whole area there so that we don't have to go back on ourselves. If that journey's 20 mile there, 20 mile back, you don't need to go there for the 2 hours tomorrow. You can do that today, and you can say, if you've got a lad with you, you go there and you say, right, today, if you don't mind, we're going to do 10 hours if that's okay with you, but tomorrow we're only going to do 6 because we're going to go in a different direction, and we're going to eat into this work, and we're going to streamline where we're traveling on a daily basis. So it's just little things like that if you're planning, you can, it's the same as if you're going past a property on the way back to your unit, or to your home, if you trade from home. If you're passing a property and you've got time, grab it, do it that day. And if you're like me, if you stick to days and you tell the customers when you're coming and what day you're coming, if you do things like that already, just explain to them that your visits may be a bit out here and there this year, and explain why, that you're trying to cut down on travel, cut down on fuel and everything like that. And it's the same with your staff. I'm sure your staff will understand that you've got to do these things at the moment because it keeps them employed as well. Because if your bills and bills just keep going up and your income doesn't keep going up, then something's got to give. So that's just a couple of ideas. The other thing is getting over to battery. There's more and more mowers coming out. A lot of guys have switched over and they're using Ego mowers and various other ones. Now, I've just spoken to Milwaukee down there today. They had the mower that was at Saltex. Anybody who was at Saltex, they had the mower out today on the stand, and it's ready to go into sale in 4 weeks time, so sort of just in time for the season. So these guys hopefully have got this right, and these mowers are going to be going to start delivering, because that's the other way we can save money, is to get over to the battery. It's a lot, yes, electric's going up, but electric isn't going up at the rate of fuel, and it'll still be cheaper to charge batteries than it will be to fill up with fuel. So that's the other option. Get over to battery wherever you can. Same with the strimmers. Yes, the strimmers are not perfect, and some jobs we still drop back onto petrol with the strimmers, but a lot of the smaller tasks and the smaller jobs, you can be there with a battery on the strimmers as well. So blowers, the same again. In the winter when you're doing huge leaf clear ups, we've got to get our BR 700. I think we've got to get the BR 700 out. But the rest of the time, general jobs and stuff, you're back on the battery blowers with the backpack. so that's cutting down on the amount you spend. And these are just ways that you can cut back on your outgoings. So just a short one today, really, just like I say, on the subject that's on everybody's lips at the moment, which is the fuel. And coming back to what I said earlier about the red diesel, it will have a huge impact on the guys who run the big ride-on machines, because if you're, based on last year, if you were filling up a machine that takes £30 worth of red diesel in a day and takes 30 litres, say for instance, they shouldn't take 30 litres, but say you're filling it up with 30 litres, just as an example. Last year that would have cost you just short of £30 at sort of 90p a litre. If you were on diesel last year, at say £1.45, if we just round that up to £1.50, that would have cost you £45. And if you factor in now, if you were putting those 30 litres in, where it's sort of £1.80 and heading towards £2, that could be £60. So that's a man who's running one of them machines last year for £30 a day is now running it at £60 a day, 5 days a week. That's £150. That's a lot of extra income to find. That's a lot of extra money to find if you're doing the same work and you're contracted to the same prices. So that's where we are. I don't know if anything will change. The JIMMY and people like that are currently speaking to the government for more clarification, because like I said earlier, it's still a bit of a grey area. Some people still believe that you can use it in certain settings, and other people are adamant that you can't. And like I say, I know golf courses and I believe charities and things can still use it, but people like such as myself and things can't. So it'll be interesting to see what clarification they get from that over the next few weeks. Ideally, the government, the way things are, I don't think the government planned on fuel prices. So it would be nice that the amount of councils who are the government, councils are funded by the government, so it's going to hit the government as well, this, because all the councils are going to have to switch back. So it would be nice for the government to have a rethink of this red diesel rule. I know they probably won't, but it would be nice if they could have a rethink and say, right, for the next 6 months we're going to just forget about this plan. I don't think it'll happen in a month of Sundays, but it would be an idea. I know recently he's talked about a small drop in the amount of fuel duty, but it's the same again. It's not going to make a huge amount of difference in our trade midsummer. If this had come in September, a lot of people wouldn't have been too bothered, because you're going into the time of year where you're not using the amount of fuel. But as it's sort of just happening, at peak season, then it is going to affect a lot of people. So if you are in contracts and you're sort of in a position where you are tied, then the other option is you look at other forms of income you've got and try and save money there, which I know is difficult, because every trade you're in, whether it's insurance, whether it's parts, whether it's service or anything like that, is going to be increasing the prices. So I know it's easy for me to say, but it's just a matter of looking at every figure possible, and just, if you can save a few pounds on every bill you've got coming in, it all helps. Yes, it's not going to take away the huge amount that the fuel is taking off people, but anything helps. So it's just a matter of looking at everything. But the key one is, for me, the logistics. If you can sort your logistics out and no wasted journeys and things like that, it's dimmers. And that could be down to you go to the dump twice a week to dump your green waste stuff. Just if you can go once a week, if you can mount it up on the van, things like that, one journey a week, and just try for the next few months just to do anything you can to save a bit of money. So I hope the video has helped. It'd be good to get some comments below about your thoughts on it, and if anybody else has got any ideas, please stick them in the comments below, because you'll be helping me and everybody else who's currently watching the channel. So drop them in the comments below, and if I can, same again, if I can give answers to them, I'll give answers to them. So thanks for watching, guys, and we will see you on the next one.